Okay, level 1, I'm recording this on my phone just so it might be a little bit easier to show you some things and go back and forth with my book. So just a quick review on triads and their inversions that were on 136 there. Remember, your root position chord, for example, on C is 135, C, E, G. And if you have the same three notes but have the E on the bottom, first inversion of C. And now if we put the G on the bottom, second inversion of C. So the point of our inversions is so we can end up doing our chord progressions a little more smoothly, and you can recognize the chords more quickly. So if we did, for example, let's do E major, root position, and then first inversion, and second inversion. And you'll notice my hand positions, 1, 3, 5 on these chords on the root position, all of them, 1, 3, 5, first inversion in the right, 1, 2, 5. If you start to move this finger over, it wants to take these with it, and there's more of a chance of playing the wrong notes. So leave these 4 fingers in a row on the keys whenever you can. And we'll use the thumb to do the movement. So anyway, first inversion and second inversion, 1, 3, 5. Flipping to your left hand, doing the same finger patterns. Yeah, my daughter has a cat, a new little kitten, and I love the kitten, but my hand does not love the kitten. My kitten does not love my hand. Sorry, it looks gross. Root position, 1, 3, 5. First inversion, 1, 3, 5. Second inversion, 1, 2, 5. So those are your fingerings for those chords. And your book, remember, they label these root position chords just the letter. And if it's inversion, letter, slash, whatever it's on top of. Whatever's the lowest note will be after the slash. And there's second inversion. 150 has your chord progressions, your 151s, which we did in class. We're just going to do this one up here. I know I labeled it in the homework as 1571. I didn't label it as 1565, but technically we're going to do all of these just like this line, not that one. We're going to do them in first inversion on your 7th chords. So just following that model there, let me go ahead and do them in D, A, E, and B. So we're just going to do them in those 7 major keys for Thursday. So C, F, and G are written out for you, so I'll go ahead and do D major now. Remember, the key of D has an F sharp and a C sharp. Your 1 chord is D. Your 5 chord is built on A. It's an A chord, and we make a 7th out of it. We add a G on top. So instead of doing this jumping, which is kind of tricky, we're going to move, since the A's in common between the 2 chords, we're going to keep it there and move all these other notes up here, down here. There they are. And then to make it even more simple, we're going to drop the E. And that's how you're doing the other ones that are written out. So D major, D, F sharp, A, C sharp, G, A. Notice the top finger is going to stay the same. The middle note will move up by a half step, and the bottom note moves down by a half step. A major, remember your scale here has 3 sharps. Your 1 chord is A, your 5 chord is an E7, G sharp, D, E. Remember, you have to slide your hand back just a little bit so you can reach your shorter finger to the black key without having to do some contortions like that. So E major, 4 sharps in the key signature, E, G sharp, and B, and then your B7 is your dominant, D sharp, A, B. So D major, A major, and E major, they feel the same. They should, you know, use the same fingers. See, I've got a middle key that's a black key, and then the bottom key is the black key on all 3 of those. That leaves B major, which is kind of a tricky key because it has all the black keys. So your 1 chord is B, D sharp, F sharp. Your dominant 7 is an F sharp 7. A sharp, E, F sharp. And you can use your ear, and if you play a wrong note, you'll know. But anyway, that's the movement. You can do it by movement, like, you know, the half steps. Or you can go ahead and play the full chord. And then figure out, okay, that's going to be in first inversion, so I'm going to put it here. And drop the C sharp. So I'd like to see those in both hands. If you do the progression, if you do the progression in the left hand, 1, 3, 5, 1, 2, 5 on all of them. Do the same fingering every time. That muscle memory always comes in handy when you're later on learning pieces. Okay, so that's what's coming up. I wanted to look at some scales. The rest of the scales, oh yeah, 142 and 143 in your book. So on your final, you do have 124 through 126, those major scales and arpeggios. And then the rest of these, so I'm gonna go through F major in your right hand right now is the one I'm really focused on. The left hand fingering is the same as it is in all the others, so I'm not gonna go over that. But the right hand is a little different. So in your F major scale, because there's a B flat in the key, that's where we would normally want to do a cross under, and that's just really awkward. So instead of crossing under the 3, we'll cross under the 4. And the forefinger hits the top. So you should end on the forefinger, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 4. So try to memorize that fingering there. It's just the opposite of normal. We usually are doing under 3, under 4, under 3, and this one we're doing under 4, under 3, under 4. So that's your F major scale. In the left hand, on the B major scale, that's the one I want to focus on this one. The right hand's normal, so not going to work on that right now. But the left hand on your B major. Notice your key signature is kind of nasty with 5 sharps, but the scale ends up being very simple because there's only 2 white keys in your B major scale, and it's B and E. And that's where your thumb's gonna have to go, because we'll never put a thumb on a black key on a scale, ever. It happens on the arpeggios once in a while, but not on the scales. So if you start on your ring finger in B major, that gets your thumb to the next white key, the E key, and then our 4 will cross over, thumb on the B. Does that make sense, hopefully? Thumb on the E, thumb on the B, thumb on the E. So all it is keeping track of where your thumb is on the B and the E white keys. And you just have to remember, if you start on the 4, you'll be fine. If you start on the 5 finger, you'll end up with a thumb on a black key, which that'll never happen on your scales. So you gotta start on the 4 and get that thumb here. When you see the 3 black keys, you need to cross with a 4 finger so your thumb can get to the white key. And when you see the 2 black keys, cross with a 3 to get your thumb to the white key. And then that leaves G flat and D flat major. So looking at the G flat scale in your left hand, first of all, since we were just in the left hand, 6 flats, it's a daunting key to play pieces in, but the scale, again, scale's not bad. In this case, we only have 2 white keys again, and it's the B key, which is functioning as C flat, and the F key. So you can see here also, we have to start on the forefinger to get our thumb to the white key B, and the thumb there to the F key. So it's very similar really to the B major, because there's only 2 white keys. In the right hand, starting on the 2 finger, that gets your thumb to the B. And you just remember to cross under after those black keys on the way up. Sorry, I got the phone in front of my hand and I can't see what I'm doing. But so when you see the 2 black keys, make sure you cross with the 3 fingers. Same deal as the B major one. And when you see the 3 black keys, it's a 4-finger cross. So same idea as B major. And then when you do D flat major, now our 2 white keys in this one are the F and the C key. They're the only 2 that aren't flat. So here, same principle, starting on a 2 to get our thumb to the white key F, thumb to the C, thumb to the F. I can't see my fingers, but so anyway, your thumb has to be on F and C. So really, that's the only trick to these G flat, D flat, and B major scales. Just keep track of your white keys. I'll do the arpeggios later, but make sure you're memorizing these scales. They need to be all memorized. So we have all the white key majors and D flat and G flat on the final.